Is devastation the truest art form? Or is learning to live through devastation the truest art form? It is quite a question. I have no idea. I think you should be on the camera because you're so much more poetic than I am. Dun dun dun. I was speaking, a gal called me the other day, yesterday I guess, and was having some trouble with the Hackamore horse. Was having some trouble with the Hackamore horse that she had, and wasn't sure where to turn, how to do it, what to do next. And she talked to some other people and didn't really dig the ideas that they'd given her, and she told me what they were, and I didn't really dig them either. And so we kind of talked it out, and hopefully I helped her out. Chances are I just confused her more. But what she asked me to do was to do a video and talk about, she said, if you could, would you sit down and think about what your checklist is for advancing to the Hackamore and advancing in and out of different diameters of Hackamore and things like that. And she said, everybody's got a checklist for what your colt needs to be able to do before you get on it, and what the horse needs to do before you do this, and what your horse needs to do before they do that, and blah, blah, blah. Everybody's got, and I'm listening on the phone and I'm thinking, I don't really have a checklist. I'm not sure how I'm going to pull this off. So I'll just sit up here and talk about it, and hopefully I'll pull it off. It reminds me of a time I was starting a lot of colts for a rope horse trainer. Very, very good rope horse trainer. He's got lots and lots of AQHA World Championships under his belt, or holding his belt up for that matter. And he asked me, he said, what's your, same idea, what's your checklist? What all do you do before you jerk your rope down and rope something? Or try to swing your rope even? And I said, gosh, I don't do anything. I just ride my horse and train my horse and do what I do. And the first time something needs roped and the idea of jerking my rope down and roping it doesn't scare me, I just go ahead and do it. Like if something needs roped and I think about grabbing my rope and I'm like, probably not, well then I don't do it. But if I don't hesitate and just jerk my rope down, 99% of the things I've roped, the first time roping on a horse, I never even thought about it. That's been the first time they ever even had a rope swung on them, was the first time I ever roped something on them. And that's just how it works for me. I don't really do these checklist things. The same with starting a colt. The gal said, everybody's got a checklist for the things the horse has to be doing correctly before you get on them the first time. I don't. I guess everybody else does maybe, but I don't. I do my thing, and when it's time to get on them, if I'm scared, I don't get on them. And if I'm not, I get on them. I don't really have this checklist. Maybe that's just not the way my brain works. So to come to this idea of a checklist of what a horse should be able to do or shouldn't be able to do when you first start them in the Hackamore. And the fellow she had been talking to said something like, if they can walk, trot, and lope, and you can open and shut a gate one-handed, then it's time to go to the Hackamore. Like, that doesn't even make any sense to me. I don't understand that one bit. My deal with the Hackamore is, and I've said this 100 times, I'll say it another 100,000 times probably if we keep doing these, that you don't train a horse to ride in a certain piece of equipment. You use a certain piece of equipment to train a horse. That's a snaffle bit, that's a bridle, any kind of bridle, that's a Hackamore, any kind of Hackamore. You use a certain piece of equipment to train a horse. You don't train a horse to ride in that piece of equipment. So a Hackamore is just a training tool. You can go, and I've done it. A lot of people have done it. I'm not the only one that's ever done it. You can start with a Hackamore. That can be the only thing they've ever had on their face their entire life till they're 7, and then you put them in a bridle. You don't have to go through this stair-step thing. There doesn't need to be a whole set of checklists. Mail call. There doesn't need to be a whole set of checklists. Just use a Hackamore. And if it's not working, use something else. And that's the thing I think where people get a lot hung up on, whether they're using this method or that method or whatever. And here's a real popular one that you need to ride the horse for at least a year in the snaffle bit, and the horse is doing everything on a loose rein perfectly in the snaffle bit. And we're talking about lead changes, haunch turns, sliding stops. I mean, real sophisticated maneuvers, working a cow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. When they can do all that on a loose rein in a snaffle bit, then you put them in a Hackamore. Well, that seems crazy to me. If they can do all that on a loose rein and a snaffle bit, they're broke. Like, what? Why go to? If you want to go to the Hackamore, fine, go to the Hackamore. That's fine with me. I don't care. But that seems crazy to me, to go through all that big long checklist of things. Where I say, if you want to use a Hackamore, use a Hackamore, and if it's not working, use a different Hackamore. And if that's not working, go to the snaffle bit and use the snaffle bit for a while, and then go back to the Hackamore if you want to, or go stay in the snaffle. There's not a set thing that you have to do. There's no reason you can't go back and forth from a snaffle to a Hackamore. Once you get into the bridle phase, there's no reason you can't go back and forth from a bridle to more bridle to less bridle, back to the Hackamore, back to the snaffle bit, to another Hackamore, back to the bridle. You're allowed. You're allowed to do that. The horse doesn't know that you're not allowed to do that. They have never read a book that said you can't do that. The horse has never read a book that says you can't do that. You can do it if you want to. If that's what works, do whatever works. And there's so many people that want to be ultra traditional, and well, the tradition is go get your job done and come home and kiss your wife at night. Live through it. So whatever it takes to do that, that's traditionally as traditional as you can get. So if the Hackamore's not working, if your horse is pulling on you in the Hackamore, put a snaffle bit back on him. Pull him back. It's no big deal. And if you felt like it was time to put the horse into a half inch, and he works pretty good for a month and a half inch, and then you give him 4 or 5 days off, and you come back and he's kind of rooting on it, put that 5/8 back on him. Come here. Remember how this all works? He'll probably remember. You can go back and forth, and there doesn't need to be a checklist. There doesn't need to be a checklist. All there needs to be is that if it's not working, don't keep doing the same thing. Go back and do something different. Change it up. Try something else. And so there's my checklist. And I'm sorry to the gal that wanted a checklist of you need to do this, and then you need to do this and this. And he's got to wake up 15 minutes before you and start the coffee and all this. I'm sorry, I wish I could give you something like that. I wish I had something like that. Probably make life easier on me too. But I don't have anything like that. It's just a tool. That's how I use it. I use the tool when it's time to use it.